Hello, this is the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Wednesday, January 25th. We apologize for the late issuance. We had a lot of our online systems down for much of the day before they got restored. Let's take a look at things. Past 7 days, precipitation here on the left. It was a fairly dry week. We'll actually look at the right, and you can see the colors are below normal colors, stretching from uh, 90% below normal or only 10% of normal precip, where you see the dark red. The only places near or above normal, some of the higher terrain in south central Utah, a little sliver in the Owahis of Idaho, otherwise fairly dry, but you can see still on the left some coverage of precipitation across nearly 90% of the geographic area, and it's been quite cold, so the humidity has been high. Nothing is really drying out fuel-wise here in January. You can see here 100-hour fuels a little bit here in the 11 to 15% range, which is our driest level on in our territory, which is still nowhere near critical, and of course very moist, closer to 20% or higher as you get into the greens and darker greens. On the left, we did have some snowfall in the blue, generally a couple of inches, 6 inches or less, but some of the yellows indicate 6 to 12 inches of snowfall in some of the highest terrain. The snow cover map, a very large area has snow cover. Even here in the Snake River Plain, you see the shade of gray. This is still an inch or two of snowfall. Same thing for much of the Salt Lake Valley. It's only in a few spots near Moab and in the southern third of Nevada that there is actually no snow of significance on the ground in the lower elevations. Otherwise, plenty of snow everywhere. And it is above normal in terms of snowpack in the higher terrain, 200 to 250% in a lot of areas in the dark blue. And as you go further north, the percent of normal starts getting more towards 100%. And 100% of normal snowpack in late January basically means some pretty hefty snowpack. So good snowpack in the higher terrain. This could bode well for us as we go into fire season. And that snowpack is going to stick around because the way this high pressure ridge off the Pacific coast is building northwards is producing northerly flow of air all the way from the Northwest Territories of Canada, driving down into the Intermountain West. This is cold, mostly dry air with some weak storm systems pushing in, so temperatures are going to remain below normal. Occasional bouts of fairly light snow. So for late Wednesday, we see a wave of moisture and some snow across parts of the higher terrain of Idaho, northern Utah, parts of eastern Nevada. Nothing too big. No issues on the 7 day. Minimum humidity is very moist everywhere. The driest in the low to mid 20% range in Vegas, otherwise 50% or higher elsewhere. The winds primarily out of the north, and they could be quite gusty at the transport level. 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. We see the orange strips. Vertical mixing, pretty good, several thousand feet above ground level. You expect that in that kind of a fast flow under when you don't have high pressure in control. Some long-lasting inversions, though, isolated. We see the areas in the purple. Now for tomorrow, still kind of that northerly northwest flow. Dry air across the Great Basin. There's more moisture to the north. Again, all green on the 7 day. Still high humidity here on the right. Still some gusty winds out of the north. Again, 20 to 30, maybe even 40 miles per hour. You see the strips through here, and those are mostly in the middle to higher elevations. Lighter winds with some longer lasting inversions, some of the lowest elevations where you see here in the purple. Vertical mixing also a bit worse across parts of northern Nevada, but still good across Utah, Snake River Plain, Idaho, and western Wyoming. On Friday, still getting that northerly wind flow all the way from the Northwest Territories, actually coming out of Alaska. So it's going to be cold. Humidity stays dry. Stronger winds coming in ahead of that next frontal system. These winds are more out of the west, southwest. They align pretty well with the Snake River Plain, especially the eastern half of it. And across parts of the Wasatch and off the Rubies, so wind gusts over 40 miles per hour in those higher elevations. Vertical mixing improving as low pressure still maintains control. Ignore this precip map; that's an old one, but we're expecting light precipitation. Saturday looks like this next frontal system. See the deep moisture through here. Snowfall mostly starts to move into the higher terrain of Idaho and western Wyoming late in the day on Saturday, and that system pushes into northern Nevada, northern Utah along the I-80 or Highway 50 corridor on Sunday and covers most of the southern half of the Great Basin on Monday as low pressure deepens across central California. A lot of moisture now starting to gather in place. So this could be a moderate storm with snow in a lot of areas, and there's another fast-moving storm coming in. So cold systems, occasional precipitation the next couple of days. As we go into Tuesday, that low breaks up. There's another weak front through here, so lots of stuff going on. This is precipitation. Saturday afternoon through Monday afternoon. Widespread coverage. You see the amounts overall fairly light, about a tenth to a quarter of an inch. Pockets of a half inch or higher across northern mountains of Utah. And day 6 and 7, that precipitation starts sagging further southwards. 7-day totals, though, widespread, so no fire concern for sure. Even tough to get a burn going other than some covered pile burns and some more hefty snows popping up and accumulating in our higher elevations. And the 8 to 14-day outlook taking us into the first week of February. Colder than normal weather continues. Precipitation starts getting above normal across most of the geographic area, especially in the north. So our uh, winter season of precipitation abundance continues. This concludes our briefing. Next one coming up this Monday. Have a great day, everyone.